Hi everyone, and welcome to Sleep and Learn. Tonight, we're diving into the mysteries science still can't explain. From the hidden nature of consciousness and the fragile reality of memory, to the strange abilities of animals, the secrets beneath our planet, and the cosmic puzzles that shape the universe itself. What if everything you think you understand is only part of a much bigger story? Relax, take a deep breath, and let your mind drift as we explore the unknown, one mystery at a time. Consciousness, the greatest mystery within us. Among all the unsolved mysteries in science, few are as intimate and as puzzling as consciousness. Every thought you have, every memory you recall, every emotion you feel arises from it. And yet, despite centuries of study across neuroscience and philosophy, no one can fully explain what consciousness actually is. At its simplest, consciousness is the awareness of being. It is the sense that you exist, that you are experiencing the world from a unique, first-person perspective. But this raises a profound question. How does the physical brain, made of cells, chemicals, and electrical signals, create something as intangible as experience? Scientists can observe brain activity in extraordinary detail. Using advanced imaging, they can see which areas of the brain become active when you feel joy, fear, or sadness. They can even predict decisions seconds before you are consciously aware of making them. But none of this explains why these processes are accompanied by subjective experience, the feeling of what it is like to be you. This is often called the hard problem of consciousness. It asks not just how the brain works, but why it produces inner experience at all. Why does a collection of neurons give rise to the color red, the taste of chocolate, or the feeling of love? Memory adds another layer to this mystery. The brain stores information not like a computer, but in a dynamic and constantly changing way. Each time you recall a memory, it can subtly change. Scientists have discovered that memories are not fixed recordings, but living processes shaped by emotion, context, and time. Yet we still do not fully understand how the brain encodes something as complex as a lifetime of experiences into physical structures. Emotions, too, remain only partially understood. They are deeply tied to survival. Fear protects us from danger, joy reinforces beneficial behavior, but they are also intensely personal. Two people can experience the same event and feel completely different emotions. Why? The answer lies somewhere in the intricate interplay between biology, environment, and individual perception, but the full picture remains incomplete. Some theories suggest that consciousness emerges from complex information processing. Others propose that it may be a fundamental property of the universe itself, much like space or time. There are even ideas that consciousness could exist beyond the brain, though such claims remain highly controversial and unproven. What makes this mystery especially fascinating is that we are using consciousness to study itself. Every experiment, every theory, every observation is filtered through the very phenomenon we are trying to understand. It is as if the universe is attempting to look at itself through human eyes, and not yet fully succeeding. Despite rapid advances in science and technology, consciousness remains one of the last great frontiers. We can map the brain, measure its activity, and even simulate aspects of intelligence, but the essence of awareness continues to elude us. It is a reminder that some of the deepest mysteries are not out in the distant cosmos, but within us, in every thought we think and every moment we experience. Memory, emotions, and the unstable nature of the mind. Memory feels like a recording of the past, a faithful archive of everything we have lived through. But in reality, memory is far less reliable and far more mysterious than it seems. Rather than storing exact copies of events, the human brain constantly reconstructs them, reshaping the past each time we remember it. Scientists studying cognitive psychology have discovered that every act of remembering is also an act of rewriting. When you recall a moment, your brain does not simply play it back. Instead, it rebuilds the memory from fragments, sensations, emotions, and interpretations, often filling in gaps without you realizing it. This means that over time, your memories can subtly change, influenced by new experiences, beliefs, and even suggestions from others. This instability raises a fascinating question. If our memories are constantly shifting, how much of our past is truly accurate? Even more intriguing is the deep connection between memory and emotion. Experiences that carry strong emotions, fear, joy, love, are often remembered more vividly. This is not accidental. The brain prioritizes emotionally significant events because they are more likely to be important for survival. A frightening experience, for example, is more likely to be remembered so that similar dangers can be avoided in the future. At the center of this process lies a small but crucial structure known as the amygdala. It helps determine which memories are worth holding on to and which can fade away. But this system is not perfect. Sometimes, it amplifies certain memories too strongly, especially negative ones, leading to persistent fear or anxiety. There are also cases where the brain creates memories of events that never actually happened. These are known as false memories, and they can feel just as real as genuine ones. Experiments have shown that with the right suggestions, people can vividly remember experiences that never occurred. This challenges the idea that memory is a reliable source of truth. Emotions themselves are equally complex. We often think of them as simple reactions: happiness, sadness, anger. But they are the result of intricate interactions between brain activity, hormones, and personal experience. Two people can go through the same situation and feel completely different emotions, shaped by their past and their expectations. Even more puzzling is how emotions can influence our perception of reality. When you are afraid, the world may seem more dangerous than it really is. When you are happy, everything can appear brighter and more meaningful. In this way, emotions do not just respond to reality, they actively shape it. There is also evidence that the mind can suppress or distort painful memories as a form of protection. This raises difficult questions. Are some forgotten experiences truly lost, or are they hidden beneath the surface, still influencing behavior in ways we do not understand? Despite advances in brain science, we still do not fully understand how memories are formed, stored, and retrieved with such richness and detail. Nor do we completely grasp how emotions arise from physical processes in the brain and body. The human mind is not a fixed system. It is fluid, adaptive, and, in many ways, unpredictable. Our memories evolve, our emotions shift, and our perception of reality changes with them. In the end, this means that the story we tell ourselves about who we are is not written in stone. It is constantly being edited, moment by moment, by a mind that science is still struggling to fully understand. Aging, longevity, and the mystery of time in the human body. Aging is one of the most universal experiences of life, and yet, at its core, it remains deeply mysterious. Every living organism changes over time, gradually losing its ability to repair, regenerate, and maintain itself. But why does this happen? And perhaps more importantly, is it inevitable? From a biological perspective, aging is not caused by a single process. Instead, it is the result of many overlapping mechanisms, each contributing to the gradual decline of the body. One of the most studied involves structures called telomeres, protective caps at the ends of chromosomes. Every time a cell divides, these caps become slightly shorter. Eventually, they reach a critical length, and the cell can no longer divide, entering a state known as cellular senescence. But telomeres are only part of the story. Cells also accumulate damage over time, from environmental factors like radiation and toxins, as well as from internal processes such as metabolism. Even the act of producing energy can create harmful byproducts that slowly wear down cellular structures. Scientists in gerontology have identified multiple hallmarks of aging: DNA damage, loss of protein stability, mitochondrial dysfunction, and more. Each of these processes contributes to the gradual breakdown of the body. And yet, None of them fully explains why aging happens in the first place. One of the most intriguing questions is why evolution allows aging at all. If survival is the goal, why wouldn't organisms be designed to last indefinitely? One explanation is that evolution prioritizes reproduction over long-term maintenance. Once an organism has passed on its genes, there is less evolutionary pressure to preserve the body indefinitely. Still, nature offers fascinating exceptions. Some species seem to defy aging entirely. Certain jellyfish can revert to earlier stages of life, essentially restarting their biological clock. Some animals can regenerate lost limbs or even large portions of their bodies, raising the question, why can't humans do the same? The study of aging also reveals something unexpected. Aging is not always a smooth, gradual process. In humans, it often occurs in bursts. Periods of relative stability can be followed by sudden declines in health or function. This suggests that the internal balance of the body can shift rapidly, tipping from stability into deterioration. Another mystery lies in lifespan itself. Why do some species live for only a few days, while others can survive for centuries? Even within humans, lifespan varies significantly. Genetics plays a role, but so do lifestyle, environment, and chance. Yet no single factor can fully predict how long a person will live. Modern science is beginning to explore ways to slow or even reverse aspects of aging. Research into cellular repair, gene editing, and metabolic control is opening new possibilities. Some experiments have already extended the lifespan of laboratory animals, hinting that aging may be more flexible than once believed. But this leads to deeper questions. If we could dramatically extend human life, what would it mean for society, identity, and the human experience? Would a longer life bring wisdom and fulfillment, or new challenges we cannot yet foresee? Despite all we have learned, aging remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in biology. It is a process we all experience, yet do not fully understand. It is both natural and mysterious, predictable and unpredictable at the same time. In the end, aging is not just about time passing. It is about the delicate balance between damage and repair, between survival and decline, a balance that science is only beginning to unravel. Animals with hidden abilities, nature's unexplained powers. The natural world is filled with creatures that possess abilities so extraordinary, they seem almost impossible. While humans rely heavily on sight, sound, and touch, many animals experience reality in ways we can barely imagine. Their senses extend beyond our perception, revealing a hidden layer of the world that science is only beginning to understand. One of the most fascinating mysteries is animal navigation. Birds migrate across thousands of kilometers with astonishing precision, often returning to the exact same location year after year. Sea turtles cross entire oceans and somehow find the very beach where they were born. Scientists believe many of these animals can sense Earth's magnetic field, a phenomenon studied in magnetoception. Yet, the exact mechanism remains unclear. How do living cells detect something as subtle and invisible as magnetism? Another remarkable ability is echolocation, used by animals like bats and dolphins. By emitting sound waves and listening to the echoes, they can see their surroundings in complete darkness. This form of perception is so precise that it allows them to detect tiny objects, avoid obstacles, and even hunt prey with incredible accuracy. While we understand the basic physics behind it, the way their brains interpret these signals into a detailed spatial image is still not fully understood. Then there are animals capable of regeneration, rebuilding parts of their bodies that have been lost. The axolotl, for example, can regrow entire limbs, parts of its heart, and even sections of its brain. This is not just healing, it is a complete reconstruction of complex biological structures. Scientists are studying these processes intensely, hoping to unlock similar regenerative abilities in humans. But the full mechanism behind such perfect regeneration remains a mystery. Some creatures push the limits of survival itself. The tardigrade, often called a water bear, can survive extreme temperatures, intense radiation, and even the vacuum of space. It does this by entering a state where its metabolism nearly stops, essentially pausing life until conditions improve. How such a simple organism can withstand conditions that would instantly kill most life forms is still not completely understood. Intelligence in animals also challenges our assumptions. The octopus demonstrates problem-solving skills, memory, and even behaviors that resemble curiosity. Unlike mammals, much of its neural system is distributed throughout its arms, meaning it can think in a fundamentally different way. This raises profound questions about the nature of intelligence itself. Is consciousness tied to a specific brain structure, or can it emerge in entirely different forms? Even more mysterious are senses we cannot directly perceive. Some animals can detect electric fields, others can see ultraviolet light, and some may even sense vibrations or chemical signals in ways that create an entirely different experience of reality. For these creatures, the world is richer, more complex, and filled with information that humans cannot access. What makes these abilities so intriguing is that they blur the line between biology and what almost feels like science fiction. And yet, they are real, products of evolution, shaped over millions of years. Despite decades of research, many of these abilities remain only partially explained. We can observe them, measure them, and even attempt to replicate them with technology. But we still do not fully understand how they work at a fundamental level. In the end, animals remind us that human perception is only one version of reality. Beyond our senses lies a vast, hidden world, one that science is still struggling to uncover. Earth's secrets, plate tectonics, volcanoes, and ice ages. Beneath our feet lies a world in constant motion, a dynamic system that shapes continents, builds mountains, and triggers some of the most powerful natural events on Earth. Yet, despite centuries of study, many of the processes driving our planet remain only partially understood. At the heart of this mystery is plate tectonics, the theory that Earth's outer shell is divided into massive plates that slowly move over time. These plates drift at speeds comparable to the growth of fingernails, yet their interactions can reshape the planet. When they collide, mountains rise. When they pull apart, new crust forms. And when they slide past each other, earthquakes shake the ground. But one fundamental question remains: what exactly drives these enormous plates to move? Scientists believe the answer lies deep within the Earth's mantle, where heat from the planet's core creates slow, churning currents. These currents may act like a conveyor belt, pushing and pulling the plates above. However, the exact mechanics of this process are still debated. The interior of Earth is largely inaccessible, forcing researchers to rely on indirect evidence and models that are still being refined. Volcanoes add another layer to this mystery. They are windows into the deep Earth, where molten rock rises to the surface in explosive displays of energy. Some volcanoes form along plate boundaries, while others appear in seemingly random locations, known as hotspots. The origins of these hotspots, and why they remain stable for millions of years, are still not fully explained. Even more puzzling is the timing of volcanic eruptions. While scientists can monitor signs of activity, predicting exactly when a volcano will erupt remains extremely difficult. The processes that lead to an eruption involve complex interactions between pressure, temperature, and the composition of magma, variables that are not yet fully understood. Then there are ice ages, periods in Earth's history when vast sheets of ice covered large portions of the planet. These dramatic climate shifts have occurred multiple times over millions of years. Scientists have linked them to changes in Earth's orbit, known as Milankovitch cycles, as well as variations in atmospheric composition. Yet, these explanations do not tell the whole story. The timing and intensity of ice ages do not always perfectly match the expected patterns. This suggests that additional factors, perhaps feedback loops within the climate system, play a significant role. Understanding these processes is not just a matter of curiosity. It may hold important clues about Earth's future climate. What makes Earth especially fascinating is that all these systems, tectonic movement, volcanic activity, and climate cycles, are interconnected. A shift deep within the planet can eventually influence the atmosphere, the oceans, and even life itself. Despite all our technological advances, we still cannot fully predict earthquakes, control volcanic eruptions, or precisely model long-term climate changes. Our planet remains, in many ways, a living system, complex, dynamic, and not entirely predictable. In the end, Earth reminds us that even the ground beneath us is not as stable as it seems. It is a world in motion, shaped by forces we are still striving to understand. Cosmic mysteries, dark matter, antimatter, and the fate of time. When we look into the night sky, we see stars, galaxies, and distant light traveling across unimaginable distances. But what we see is only a small fraction of reality. The universe is filled with mysteries that challenge even the most advanced science. Questions about what it is made of, how it began, and how it will ultimately end. One of the greatest of these mysteries is dark matter. Although it cannot be seen directly, its presence is revealed through gravity. Galaxies rotate in ways that cannot be explained by visible matter alone, suggesting that an unseen substance is holding them together. Scientists estimate that dark matter makes up most of the universe's mass, yet its true nature remains unknown. Is it made of undiscovered particles, or does it point to gaps in our understanding of gravity itself? Closely connected to this puzzle is another enigma: antimatter. In theory, every particle of matter has an opposite counterpart with opposite charge. When matter and antimatter meet, they annihilate each other, releasing pure energy. According to current models of the early universe, matter and antimatter should have been created in equal amounts during the Big Bang. But here lies the mystery. If that were true, they should have completely destroyed each other, leaving behind a universe filled only with energy. And yet, matter clearly dominates. Stars, planets, and life itself exist. So what happened to all the antimatter? Scientists have discovered tiny asymmetries in particle behavior, but not enough to fully explain this imbalance. Then there is time itself, something we experience constantly, yet do not fully understand. In everyday life, time feels like it flows in one direction, from past to future. This is known as the arrow of time, closely related to the concept of entropy. As entropy increases, systems move from order to disorder, giving time its apparent direction. However, the fundamental laws of physics do not strongly distinguish between past and future. On the smallest scales, many processes can run forward or backward in time. This raises a profound question: why does time appear to move only one way? Some theories suggest that the arrow of time is tied to the initial conditions of the universe, specifically, the incredibly low entropy state at the beginning of everything. Others explore the possibility that time itself may not be fundamental, but rather an emergent property of deeper physical laws. Even more intriguing is the question of the universe's ultimate fate. Will it continue expanding forever, gradually cooling into darkness in a scenario known as the heat death? Or could there be unknown forces that reverse this expansion, leading to a collapse? There are even hypotheses suggesting multiple universes, where time and physical laws may behave in entirely different ways. Modern physics, including quantum mechanics and cosmology, has brought us closer to understanding these mysteries, but not close enough to solve them. What makes these questions so powerful is that they challenge the very foundations of reality. Matter that cannot be seen, antimatter that almost vanished, time that may not be what it seems. In the end, the deeper we explore the universe, the more we realize how much remains unknown. The cosmos is not just vast, it is filled with mysteries that continue to push the limits of human understanding.